Jehovah, you. Say it.
Good evening. Welcome to the village. Welcome to the village. And take us away, Jonathan Nelson. Jehovah, you.
Jehovah, you. I trust. Say it. I trust. Tell me how to do it, y'all. In you. I believe. Say it. Say it. I believe you. I trust. Come on. In you. Oh Lord, Jehovah, you. Where y'all at? Come on. I trust in you. I believe. Say it. I believe. You are the God of miracles. You are the God of miracles. You are the God of wonder. You are the God of wonder. You are the God of power. You are the God of power. I believe. Say it. I believe. Say it, y'all. Come on, let your feet get heavy. Let's go. Come on. Somebody make some noise in here. Come on, catch it, Jehovah. I trust in you.
Hey, Dr. Brian, I can't hear you.
Oh Lord, Jehovah, you.
I still can't hear you.
I trust in you. I believe. Say it. Everybody say it. I believe you. I trust in you. Oh Lord, y'all got your part over here. I can't hear you. Come on, say it. I trust. Say it. In you. I believe. Say it.
I believe. One more time. Let me just give it a little bit more.
You are the God of miracles.
Yes,
you are the God of wonders. You are the God of wonders. You are the God of power.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Village Talk Show. This is another beautiful Thursday afternoon, and we are here live. We're the Village. It's all about empowering the community. We're dedicated to helping the community to live a healthy, safe, to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education. Helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, started from today. Remember, success is not just spoken, it is done. What are you doing to be successful? You can reach us, and please, we ask you to share, not just reach, but share us. We are on YouTube at the Village Talk Show. We are on TuneIn Radio at GD Radio. We're on Facebook, Dr. Joanne Bryan, John L. Sampson, Andre Dolman, Sophia Willisey. Guess what? We also have the Village Talk Show on Facebook. Join our group and like us right there at the Village Talk Show. And if you want to get in touch with us, you have a topic you want to talk about, you want to meet with us, the Village Show 30 at gmail.com. That's Village Show 30 at gmail.com. Dr. Brian, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. And you? How are you?
I am okay. I told you with that little smile and that good how are you. When I ask you how you're doing, I want to know about your day. Don't give me no. We spoke about it last week, right? Oh, I'm great. I'm good. How are you? How was your day, Dr. Brian?
I just smile.
I know. Answer the question. Don't just smile. Answer the question. Ask me the same question. Go ahead.
How was your day? How was
my day? Was good.
What makes it good?
See, Dr. Brian? See, that's how I'm modeling for you. It was cool. Got up a little earlier than usual. It's kind of funny. Had an exciting visit to the doctor this afternoon. Went over my dietary plans with me. I thought it was kind of cool. And and I was home all day, got an opportunity. My sons, today was their school did a costume, right? So they were able to hang out at, in their costume and stuff like that. So I was kind of excited. I had the rest of my lobster. I have an aunt, my wife's aunt, and she makes a mean lobster and a mean crab. So, but today was just lobster, and my son King and I and my other son Carter, we love seafood, so we had that. So it's cool. So tell me now, let's go back. Let's model. How was your day?
Rolling my eyes. Rolling
Huh?
I
You
said
can
I'm
roll your eyes all you want, but that's
Anyway, I want to talk about something else.
no. Talk
Except
about your day first.
No,
Talk
I
about
don't
your day first.
I don't want to talk about my day.
Okay, so why do I need to be full disclosure and you don't feel the need to be a full disclosure?
Well, I want to get to the point that I
am going to get to the point. You're going to have the floor, but I want you to tell us about your day. You don't, nothing specific.
Well, if I get to my point, then you'll get the point.
Oh boy! All right, go ahead.
Okay, so
I know my friend is going to tag me because she said, "Why don't I leave you alone?" So I'm going to listen to her and leave you alone. Go ahead.
Thank you, friend.
And Sophia.
Thank you, Sophia. So,
is it just me or is she a little low? She sounds a little low, right?
You want me to be louder?
All right, go ahead.
So my pet peeve, actually.
Oh, I know why. Go ahead.
My pet peeve is the whole civil our people who are going on strike, and not only on strike, but people who decided to, let me rephrase, city workers who are given the option on.
They're not given no option.
Which is true.
They have a choice, not an option. Although it could be the same word, right? No. I think option sounds a little bit more like, when I say choice, it's either A or B, right? Option, you really you could decide which one is better. No, it's a choice. Either you get vaccinated or stay home.
The problem with this is safety is at risk. Safety is at risk because they mentioned, hey, the police could double up or firefighters could come from different areas. That's a problem. If something is happening in the vicinity where you are, or you call the police for a situation, it should not take them 5 hours to get back to you because they're short.
It's not that they're short.
No.
I'm telling you, it's not because they're short.
So
it's because they have what they do. They purposefully. They're not short because nobody was laid off, so they're not short. What they're doing is a job action. So it's like they're working to clock. They're not. So like you call them to something, they take their time. It's not. They're not short. Nothing. That's not true. They just. They can't strike, right? Because it's illegal to strike. Because if you strike, well, not that you can't strike, you can, but you lose 2 days pay for 1 day out. So most people can't do that. So what's the next best thing? They do it. I call in sick. I show up late. I work to the clock. I take my time. I am going, but so that's 100. They put. Unfortunately, they put people's life at stake to make that point that they don't want to do the vaccine. So so they're not short.
Okay. So when they have to work 16 hours, a double shift or whatever, similar to correction officers, they're not short?
No, that's different, right? That's a little bit different, right? Because what the issue is now is that civil workers are complaining, just like everybody else, about taking the vaccine. and being mandated to take the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to. They don't. People don't want to be forced. Some people. And by the way, and again, we had this discussion last week. It's a small percentage. It's not, but it's, again, when I bring it back up to, I was having a conversation with one of my friends today, bring back up to 2016 election. Most people thought Hillary was going to win win the election, right? And she didn't lose the election by a lot because she actually won the popular vote. But the Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, that she lost, that cost her the election, she didn't lose those states by more than 50,000 votes. So what happened was, you had the quieters who, one, you had with all the hoorah, people didn't go out to vote. So they're like, oh, she's going to win, so I'm not going to vote.
That's the same thing with this election coming up. A lot of people,
right. So the average worker has already taken the vaccine, right? So you have a large cry, and it doesn't matter if 100 officers mean a lot more overtime, right? Firefighters. I'm not disputing that, right? And New York City, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And so Andre corrected me. So options are what's in front of you, and the choice is the one that you make. Is that correct? All right. So he's the English teacher, so he corrected me on that. So you're right. Like I know I have correction officer friends who, so here's things that hurt officers, right? When they did the starting salary, which was crap, like many years ago, it was $34,000. A lot of people are like, I'm not going to that. I actually in 2002 was going towards being a police officer, 2002, 2003, right? And then 2001, 2002, around that time, I had to pass my test. I got a high percentile, but then the pay cut at that time was the contract. I don't remember when that contract was, but it was $34,000 to come in. At that point, I was making $50-something thousand a year. I'm like, I'm not quitting my job to go make $20,000 less. That didn't make sense. So you lose a lot of people. When people signed the contract for the teachers, they didn't even bother read the fine print about all the things that they lost, right? They were like, oh, I got what was it? A 22% overall compounded with interest raise on my check. And it was passed by 80-something%. And people were like, what's wrong with you? You're giving back Brooklyn Queens Day. You're giving back this day, you're giving back that day, and you give back these sick days. The young teachers were like, oh, my money. I'm getting more money. Right now, the starting salary for teachers is what, $57,000? Right? So if you're getting $57,000 plus fringe benefits, oh, I could work around that, and all that paperwork. But if you really think about it, right? And I ask you this question: are there no cops at work? No firefighters at work? Are the stations all closed?
No, it's not saying that. They're saying they're short, and that it takes longer to attend to different activities happening.
So here's my question. Why all of a sudden it's a big deal and they're lobbying now when they were short over the summer? Black Lives Matter was a problem. Remember, with Black Lives Matter, there was a slowdown too, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. With the Black Lives Matter, a lot of areas got cut.
Now,
and
let me ask you a question. Black Lives Matter, did they go slow down? Why? Because you were going at cops. And there was a slowdown at work. And I know that factually. You know how I know that factually? Because I have police officer friends. So they slowed down doing Black Lives Matter. Well, all of a sudden, you're short when you have the mandate coming tomorrow or the next day. All of a sudden now you're short. But you weren't making the argument 6 months ago. Remember, there's a class just went in May. Just came out in May. Our class I think it just went in this October. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that people are not losing their job. I'm not saying that people are not quitting. I'm not saying that they're issues. I think a lot more with all the different reforms
Mm-hmm.
that are happening, that people are not really looking at safety, especially some people who talk about, and especially with Black Lives Matter,
Mm-hmm.
people are talking about, oh, defund the police. And where the issue is in Black areas. And whether or not people want to accept it or not, the bulk of the crimes happen in Black communities, whether
Yep.
you want to accept it or not. And the
Right.
police officers are not the one committing the crimes. So I'm going to say the crack of baloney about defund the police. You do need to hire more police
Mm-hmm.
because the crimes are happening in Black communities
And it's
at a
increasing.
higher rate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Say it again.
Our community is first to affected when you defund.
Exactly. The first one to go and the first one to be affected are the Black communities. So don't give me the crap about the funding on. I'm not saying there's no reform needed. Right?
Right. But a lot of the different part of the police department was cut.
Yes.
And that impacts everything.
Well, it's
You
not.
might not think
What
so.
do you mean by different departments? Do you mean? I mean different. Explain different departments.
So one department that was cut, I know, is more computer bound. I would say,
But if,
yeah,
I'm
a
sorry,
lot of
more
the
computer what? Computer bomb or
computer
bound?
or- yes, computer orientated. Like a lot of the let me see. I'm trying to like if you're on the internet, there's crimes happening there.
A cybercrime you talking about?
Yes, that.
Okay.
Another area, undercover. That was
Cut.
cut.
What do you say? Cut. Gotten rid of or just less funded?
They closed that division down.
Okay.
Okay. So different divisions were shut down, but it was more like, hey, as a way to say we cut the budget or we cut on the defunding to give whoever to make them comfortable with defunding the police. Hey, we're going to eliminate this program, we're going to eliminate that program. Even the community policing, some part of it have been cut, and that impact overall community. You know, people who typically, police officers who typically would be around schools or park, they're not there. So that's a big problem.
And you know what, Doc?
Mm-hmm.
Where the crime we have an increase in violent crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And where are those crimes? What communities?
I'm not talking about the communities. I'm mainly
No. I'm saying when you talk about the cuts, because remember, we after George Floyd
Mm-hmm.
we were the biggest proponent. Not to mention there are a couple other political liberals far left, right, who
Mm-hmm.
asked for defunding the police. But which community is paying for that now? What are they now? Where are the street cameras?
Oh, everywhere.
In which community?
They spend more money on that than making sure that's the security.
But which communities are they in? Have you been driving around the city of New York?
Not really.
Okay.
I want to.
You should.
I don't want
It's
to.
in the Black communities. Black. The Black, Hispanic, the Black and brown communities. That is where they are.
Mm.
I drove to Manhattan the other day. I was in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan in the 20s. I don't even remember seeing one street camera. I don't even remember if there was one.
Mm. Now that's interesting.
Right? When I went downtown Brooklyn, honestly, I don't even remember if there was one. There's one on Flatbush going towards the Barclays Center.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember on Eastern Parkway. Where is it? Once you pass.
On Eastern
no.
Parkway,
But where are they?
So like you blaming the Black community for the things that happen.
There's
No,
one
it
across
sounds,
the park.
Andre said it sounds like I'm blaming the black community for things that happen to us. What I'm saying is that in our black community,
Mhm.
we're arguing one thing and not seeing what the other. We're like, it's like we're arguing something that because we're very passionate about, but we don't see the ramification of the other side.
You're saying we're more reaction bound?
Yes, we're more reactive than proactive,
Mm.
right? So we are more neighborhood watchers. Like, why don't we have more black associations that are more effective? Neighborhood watches. Like, people
Why
don't
don't we
even
have more homeowners instead of
more
renters?
homeowners instead of renters, right? Because if you rent, very few people rent and care about anything other than they don't even care about their own apartments, to be honest with you. I'm not saying blacks, I'm just saying in general. Right?
Mhm.
Someone would say this because of the economic structure that are in place that don't
Well,
give us the opportunity. So
I don't know. I don't know. Andre says something about the economic structure, but it's more than just economic structure. And the interesting is that people look more to blame than it is to find solutions. There's no accountability.
Mm.
So yeah, but let's see as of tomorrow. Tomorrow, I know a couple of people who have lost their jobs because they said I'm not doing the vaccine.
A lot of people. Yeah.
I know a few people, but I know more people who kept their jobs.
Mm.
as long as they took the vaccine.
Huh?
As long as they took the vaccine.
Yeah. I know more people who took the vaccine and kept their jobs than those who didn't.
Do you think there's people out there who got like fakes?
The people who get fake vaccine, I'm sure.
Fake paper and still was it?
Now, listen. Let me tell you something in life. You can fake it till you make it for a long time.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure some people find a way. Speaking of faking till you make it, in Jamaica, right?
What, Andrew Holness?
Not Andrew Holness, unless I missed something with that. The pastor Kevin O. Smith. What is going on there? Do you know what we're talking about?
No,
Dr.
I
Ryan has been following up with that.
No.
So apparently, allegedly, right? And again, he was deported in 2007 from Canada.
Okay.
This is Pathway International. Allegedly. And again, ladies and gentlemen, some people hear what they want to hear, but I'm saying allegedly because I didn't fact check. Right? Allegedly, he was deported from Canada for sexual misconduct in 2007.
What is it?
For a 21-year-old male, for molestation of a 21-year-old male.
Okay.
And he went to Jamaica. He formed a church, Pathway International.
Oh boy.
Huh?
Pathway just dead?
Yeah. And he had some ritual in the church where he was asking people to kill people.
What?
And yeah, he was asking people to kill people. Kevin O. Smith. Bishop, Dr. Bishop, His Excellency, and some other.
Wait, you call him His Excellency? Why?
Yeah, he added His Excellence. He called himself His Excellency. He was not given that title, but he took the title His Excellency.
Mm.
And then so he attempted to. So he had this thing that when this ritual in the church where people they got naked and they started killing. So I think at least 3 people were killed.
This is like a cult.
Yeah, it was pretty much a cult. Right. And then so 9 days later, he was going to be transported from where he was to another part of the country for proper arraignment.
Okay.
Right, for proper arraignment. And with that happening, he conveniently was killed in a car crash. Right? Was killed in a car crash with another police officer. So what's the likelihood, or it's like get hit winning the lottery, right? That this man who's wanted for murder is going to court, gets killed in a car crash, and nobody can find the body.
So he's not dead.
Right? Or he was pronounced dead. He was pronounced dead in St. Catherine at Linstead Hospital. And then the body disappears. Right?
New identity.
Yeah, right? So tell me, what's the likelihood of that?
He's not dead.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
wait, what happened to the police officer?
They said he died, right?
The police officer died.
Yeah, so one of the police officers who was transporting him died. Right?
Did they find that body?
Well, his body was, I don't know. They just said they sent a picture actually of the police officer who died in the car crash, which is a possibility that the police officer died. Why? Because if you want to stage the accident, right, you could stage the accident and he might have gotten, injured. So one theory is that he might have died in the car. So somebody must have killed him while he was there before he got to the thing. Because when you see the pictures, there's no blood, there's no nothing. He has his mask on and he looks fine, except for he's not moving. Right? Now, I came across a car crash in Jamaica in 2017. Right? July 2017, I came across a car crash in Jamaica. And I was there to help this, thank God I was there to help to save somebody's life. But I also saw the person right there who also died. Right? Somebody died on the scene, and the next person, we took it to, I don't know if he lived, but at that moment he was living. Right? And there was a lot of blood. And you could see the blood.
Well, maybe not all accidents are the same. Look at it that way.
Right? So that's very interesting.
And
this guy,
was it a fire? Was the accident by fire? Okay,
it was a crash.
Okay.
Right, it was a crash. There are a couple of things that upset me about this. One, I can't understand why people follow cults. Like, it doesn't dawn on you that the Bible is not going to tell you to kill your neighbor.
But here's the thing: a lot of people are not spiritually, but not solid in what they believe, that they will allow people to, because they're not reading, or maybe because they're not following the Bible, the Torah, or whatever. They trust in the word of an individual and not do their fact check.
Right. But again, for me, right, the one of the questions, and to go back to what we were saying, one of the 10 commandments says thou shalt not kill. That's one of them. So if a pastor tells you that you need to kill, right? Think about that for a second, because you're unclean and you're not, that's one of my problems with it, right? That people, like you said, they're not learned. If you're in church, you need to read Exodus 20, right? You need to read it. Thou shalt have no other God beside me. Right. On it, all the 10 commandments. The second thing that makes me upset is that you have people out there who say that there is no God.
Atheists.
Right? Not just atheists, right? Right? Satanic, whatever reasons that you say it, can now use this as to say it goes back to when I say to people all the time, when you can pick out examples, it means that it's not the norm. However, this is a real example. Right? And that makes a mockery of religion, which upsets me. Right? So, it's a problem. Right? I would view that I am very religious, and I would venture to say that you're more religious than me. Right? Not that I don't know if that's a good thing to compare I don't know. But in my mind, I am not an Orthodox Christian. That's not who I am.
Okay.
Right? I believe in the power of God. I believe in the Holy Trinity. You know, I believe there's a heaven. I believe there's a hell. So the foundation, but I'm not a believer who believes that you have to, like, I don't think you're that way either. Like, your hair has to be this. Women shouldn't do this, and this is the man's role.
That's religion, and that's the way that many people in the Caribbean was taught. Many different religion, Pentecostal, I would say. You know, hey, you shouldn't have earrings. Hey, you shouldn't do this. Hey, you shouldn't wear makeup. You shouldn't do that. And unfortunately, that's a turn off for a lot of young folks, a lot of young people. You know, if you were brought that way, I was raised in strict Pentecostal household, and of course, when you get older, you don't want to hear nothing about that. And not saying you don't want to hear anything about God, but more, um, you still can't hear me?
Yeah, I can. No, I can hear you. Andre was
Okay.
just talking to me.
But more, you don't want
He's
to be
bad. He's bad. He's making fun of you.
you don't want to be restrictive.
He's making fun of. I'm just joking. He's making fun of us.
So you
Yeah,
don't
but
want
I
to,
agree, 100%.
and that's the thing. Right now, I'm into religion not being overpowering. I'm not into religion. I'm more into a relationship.
A
So
relationship with God. I
yeah,
agree.
that's so I would consider myself more non-denominational than
Hmm.
um one set of religion.
Like, so a couple of things that I want to point out, because I want to segue into a little bit, right? So there's a church in St. Elizabeth in Jamaica, which I know of, right?
Mhm.
And it makes what they're doing for people, it makes them look bad, right?
Mhm.
When you show the mansion of the bishop and all the cars and all, makes it. But then there's like a little church where in the community you're giving Wi-Fi to the school.
Mhm.
They're helping the community. The churches that I am affiliated with,
Mhm.
Liberty Hall Cathedral of Praise here in Brooklyn, Grace Deliverance. We're doing so much to try to help the community that makes this so bad.
But here's the
You-
thing, Roderick. You have to remember that if you're not into church, if you're not into more spirituality, the first thing that people will look at is, hey, the pastor's always doing this. Hey, the pastor's doing that. So they would criticize more than they would get involved.
Right.
So you're going to have a set of individuals who's going to look as attack mode, and then those who actually get involved and see what it is and how you impact a a greater community. Yes, I have pet peeve with different churches that absolutely do absolutely nothing. And we have plenty of those as well. But
The
then you have a set of church in the community, doing things that impact more than just their church, but just the whole community overall.
Yep. And I could definitely, I know a few.
Hmm.
Like I told you, I just told you too. When I think about Mount Sinai, as well, and what they're doing, the 6th, 7th precinct council here in New York City, and God Squad, what they're doing to the community,
Hmm.
um, it's invaluable, and these things frustrate me to no end when you make and you know what makes it me even more upset and about everything. People like to group people, and I keep saying to people all the time, stop grouping people and say this is the thing. I said to people, and I say it all the time, you have bad teachers, bad pastors, bad cops,
Hmm.
because you have bad people,
Right.
ill-minded people. And so don't blame everyone. And speaking of that, right, we have a guest, Natasha Miles, who's going to come on. who has been doing stuff. She does. It's not a church, but it does what community-based things.
Ooh, I'm
Right.
glad you say that. Repeat that again.
That does community-based things, like some of the churches that I know. So I want to bring up Natasha Miles from the Andre, you gonna do that for us? Bring her up. So Natasha Miles. Hi Natasha, how you doing? Welcome to the village.
Oh, how are you? You're muted.
You're muted. You have to unmute yourself.
There you go.
Hi.
Hi Natasha.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I
Oh, by
am
the
well.
way, Roderick, thank you for having me, and thank you, Andre, for having me. I appreciate that.
All right, not a problem. By the way, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. You know, the Mileslee Foundation, you know, bringing hope for brighter tomorrows. We're changing lives in every which way. We've done so much so far. Kudos to all my sponsors, all my supporters. Thank you so much. Thank you for the volunteers. I couldn't have done it without them.
So Dr. Bryant, Dr. Joanne and I want to know what are you talking about? What is it that you've done? What does these sponsors do?
Yes, introduce.
No. I love wait, Joanne. I love how she started because most times we forget that there are people who support us, right? So I love that. So go ahead, Joanne. You were saying,
Please, Miss Natasha, can you please introduce yourself to our audience? Who are you? What do you do? Tell us about the Mileslee Foundation, and go from there.
The Mileslee Foundation. My name is Natasha Miles. I'm the founder and president of it. It was always in the back of my mind to start this foundation very long time ago. But it was this year that was actually rolled out, meaning let it become official, getting it registered with the 501c3, getting it set up on Instagram, on Facebook, creating the website. It's time for it to start. And I said to myself, what better time than now? Because I do work from home. My background, I knew from a very early child age what I was destined to do. What I was destined to do was to help the poor. Even as a child, as young as I can remember, just walking on the streets, right? Seeing the homeless, seeing what they need, what they, how they were hungry, they was missing whatever it is, a shoe or whatever it is, clothing. Guess what that little girl did, right? My grandmother, Rebecca, gave me the name Little Miss for a reason. I was a child, yes, but my thinking was that of an adult. Mm-hmm. I went searching for what they wanted, and I came back, and I gave it to them. And they turned to me and said, thank you. God bless you, child. God bless me. And as God is blessing me, I'm sharing my blessings. A lot of us don't do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, we keep it all to ourselves. But if you're being blessed, and God will always make sure your cup continues to be overflowing, right? Your cup will always be filled up.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting what you're saying, Natasha. I don't know if I know that you were backstage and heard some of the conversation as it relates to religion, and that's what we're talking about, right? Like what the value of God's work, right? And that's now demonstrating itself through you, right? What you're doing. So I want you to tell us specifically what are some things that you have done. And you said you started, but I'm sure you weren't doing this just
at a young age. She was doing it at a young age.
Just this year through the Mileslee Foundation. Tell us some of those things that you've been doing.
Okay, so let's start. The beginning of the year, the first retreat I held was in West Kingston. Okay.
The first what?
In West Kingston.
No, I heard the place. The first something you said.
The first treat. They call it a treat.
What's like that? Please explain to the audience what a treat is.
Yes, a treat is like a food drive where you give away, food kinds, right? So that was done February 8th of this year. Yeah, February 8th of this year. Feeding over 300 people. And I'm not just talking about the little can of corns and the little can of peas. I'm talking about the rice, the flour, the cornmeal, the oil, the sugar, all of it. I even went to Linstead St. Catherine and ordered, what you call it, those chicken, the ones that farm raised, and had over 150 delivered to my treat to put in the bags for these people. Okay? Because what I wanted to do, West Kingston was where I was born. So the people in that community, I wanted to let them know all hope is not gone. Look at Natasha, that little girl that was running around the light post. Yes, even though it was a dangerous area, I ran. But guess what? My name wasn't on any of those bullets because I had to come back and show you guys, keep hope, keep your hope alive.
Mhm.
I came back. You can do it too. My mother is one. She did great. You know, coming from the same area. She's a nurse and she's my inspiration.
Mhm.
Right. I look up to her. I learn a lot from her. Being a nurse for over 40 years, she have accomplished a lot.
Mhm.
I want to go back. Let's go back a little bit and tell us. So you were born in Jamaica, West Kingston.
Right.
Then you migrated. When did you come to the United States?
I migrated when I was 8.
Okay. And tell us a little bit more. So you came here, you went to school. Where you? So when you came to Brooklyn. Tell us a little bit about your background. We see your passion, but tell us a little bit more about you. Like
Okay.
you're a what? You do this, you do that. You know, if you want to include where you went to school, your career, those kind of things.
Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, my background, I came when I was 8, and that was pretty much like junior high school. And when I came, I was always, what you call it, a straight A student, right?
By the way, I don't. When you say that, I smile. You know why, right? We're from a
Yes,
West
because
Indian household. You better go to school.
exactly. I, and my
Joanne
mom,
knows exactly what that means. Is out of school, I get your rump handed to you, especially
exactly.
at that age. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is, my mom expected nothing, right? Than the best from me. Put your book,
Absolutely.
right? The key to success is education,
Yep.
right? Education is what's going to open the doors for you. So I migrated to the United States when I was 8, went through the whole school system, graduated from high school, in the college prep it was, went on to SUNY Binghamton, State University of Binghamton
I'm
University.
sorry. College prep. What is that? I'm sorry. Is that prep?
College prep. College prep courses in high school.
Oh,
Those are the courses I
got you.
was
Okay,
taking.
I understand. Okay.
Right. I graduated in the top 10 percentile in my classroom.
Where did you go to high school?
Boys and Girls High School on Fulton Street.
You go, girl. Go ahead.
Hi in the house.
Kumbaya, man. I hear you.
Right. So Frank Mickens, the principal at the time, he's great. You know, I usually have breakfast with him because I was on the student body. Right. I was a secretary one year, vice president the other day. I was homecoming queen. I did a number of things. I was an athlete as well. Not only academically smart, but I played softball. Right. Most valuable player. So long story short, I graduated. Right. And my first job was on Wall Street.
Mhm.
Right. And I appreciate so much that job. 67 Wall Street, Fleet Brokerage House was the first place. But guess what? It created my foundation, gave me the fundamentals. That's so helpful now, right? I can educate I call it the minorities, right? Because a lot of them don't know about investments. How you think the rich continue to be enriched?
Trust me, Joanne and I and John, we are gung ho. You know, it's kind of interesting. I was having this conversation. I don't know who I was having with. Like, if we talk about the pasa pasa, people stay
What is
focused.
the pasa pasa? Come on.
If we talk about like what's going on and this one I jumped, that one, this one is with that one, and that one is that one. Oh, you have you have our, you know, in schools, right? Kids want to know who was the last fight, and when you start
So
sitting,
gossip, more like it.
well, we call it pasa pasa. What do you call it?
Gossip.
Gossip. So whatever the gossip, right?
Yeah.
They're more interested. But when you start to, like you said, like how do you remain? Once we start talking about wealth, people tune out. So, but why is wealth so important? or movement to wealth. In, like you say, I would teach people about investment and financial literacy.
Wealth is important because, right, you're the consumer, right? Being a consumer, you always go out there, you're supporting other businesses, correct? Right.
Right.
So you buy the Nike for what, $95 a pair, whatever the case is. You can also buy one share of Nike as well. And guess what? Not only are you a consumer, but now you're owner in that company. So when they have their conference calls, quarterly conference call, they're going to send you an invite. Here's the information. You log in, dial in, so you can see how the company is doing. The value of the sneakers that you bought goes down in value. You end up either not in style anymore, you throw it out, you donate it. But guess what? A share of that Nike at $95 can go to $200. Just like that. And that's more than just being a consumer. Now you're owner. I think owner versus consumer sounds better. That's all I'm saying. And then the most important thing is getting to learning how to invest. You're going to teach your children, right? Break the cycle. You have to break that cycle. Teach your children, right? So just circling back, right? I learned a lot. Thank you for the knowledge that I gained from Wall Street, from firms just like such as the TD Waterhouse at the time was TD Ameritrade. I traded there, Roderick, for 4 years with the retail clients themselves. Then I moved on to Bank of America Investments, working with the highly sophisticated investors, the institution accounts, like the Saks Fifth Avenue, the Red Hats, those companies. Okay, and then I went on to Morgan Stanley during the Dodd-Frank era. Compliance was when everything was like the housing market crash. Yes, compliance came into play, right? Policing, yes. So I went to Morgan Stanley for another 5 years, right? And then I went to other places as well, JP Morgan Chase, right? And I move on also where I am now, Henry Schein, doing audit work for the past 5 years. So I'm well-rounded, and all that information, all that experience, it was just a wealth of knowledge that I've gained.
And how does that? Okay, so you gain all this wealth, and so how does that? Let's talk about moving that into what you do in terms of educating and giving, right? So you're giving through education and actually physically giving. Tell us about that now. So you did all this financial. Do you do when you go out, and you said you did West Kingston? You talk about Linstead where you bought some chicken. Anywhere else that you've been in Jamaica? Let's circle back to that giving.
Okay, so let's circle back to that giving. So recently, right, separate from the treat, I was in Negril. My last trip to Jamaica, I was in Negril, working on a project with a family that was desperately in need. So what the foundation did was provide the building materials to help rebuild a kitchen and a bedroom, whatever else they needed. I went personally myself to the hardware store and bought all the things, have it delivered to them. You can check this all out on my IG page, Mileslee Foundation, on Instagram, also on Facebook. And we do have a website, milesleefoundation.com. We're doing a lot. We're changing a lot. And we just got started. We have so much more to go. We're doing big things. We're doing big things.
Big things are going.
Big things are going.
Right. When we spoke, I think you said you gave out like some school supplies, or you're collecting school supplies or something like that. What?
Yeah. So right now we're doing a back to school. We're trying to do a back to. My goal is to do the treat, right? The food treat, right? In January, February, because that's the time. January, February, March is when people need the food the most. And then back to school treat in the August, September months. And then Christmas is another treat that I'm looking to do, right? But the only thing that I was told by my sponsors, people who have been donating, Natasha, listen to me. I have no problem giving you what you need to help these people, as long as they get it and they're not going to be charged for it, right? Because they don't mind giving. It's just that when they give and they hear that the people that are not getting it back, that's the heartbreaking part of them. But they like, I promise them, I'll take it from A to Z. You give it to me, I will give it to them, because they're they're in desperate need of it. I don't need it. I'm blessed. God is good to me. Amen. Hallelujah. God is good to me. I'm sorry.
That's what we're here for. I love it because it shows that what you're doing, you are so passionate about it, and and God's gift. people you have met and the impact that they have had, how does that keep the drive going? I'm sure it does something for you. Tell us about that.
Okay, so what it is, right? And I want to say God is good, right? For those who have their faith and trust and believe in God, right? He's going to come through for you. So as I'm crossing paths with these different individuals, right? Because you got to keep in mind, what burdens you doesn't just burden you. It's not just on your shoulders, it's on your family's shoulder. Your mother's burden as well. Your father's going to carry that burden. Your kids are going to. It's a domino effect. So when I come along now, right, and they're saying whatever it is that they need, medicine, food kind, a bill that's enormous that they, don't have it or whatever the case is, but here you go. So and their question is, how is this possible, Natasha? Please tell me how is it? I said, what is impossible for God? You tell me. How good is God? So then they start weeping.
Amen.
They start
Amen
crying.
on that.
They can't believe this. I said, because you had your faith.
Yeah, when you think of your foundation, the Mileslee Foundation, tell us, what do you think that impact is, and tell us more about the impact. What communities are you looking at? The impact on people, and then tell us, maybe you have like a testimony of a story of maybe one family that you met. Tell us about that, the impact.
Okay, let me just start with Miles. The reason my name, I use it. Miles on Facebook, a lot of my followers know this, right? From my weekly chats on Saturdays at 3:30, but stemming off of that, Miles is motivate, Roderick. I like to motivate people. Eyes for inspiration. Inspire them. Love is a heart. I have a big heart. Yes, a giving heart, right? To share not with just my family. Ease, encouragement. We all need encouragement. Get off that couch. Go find that job. The job is not going to come in your house and drop in your lap. You got to get up.
Amen.
Right?
Thank you. Right? Thank you for that. Say it again. Get up and
get
do
up
what?
Off the couch. Go find a job. Yes. Do something.
Yeah. Right? Thank you.
Right.
So people don't understand that. I'm going to sit in my house. The job is going to come to me. No, you're going to get up and go look for it.
You got to get up. Right.
Right. God will open a door. Like, for example, Mileslee, open a door to help you, like a resume writing, a connection, a call,
right?
Motivation, whatever that is. Yes.
Right. And the last one is support. Right? Support. And if you have the support, that will turn it around. You're going to have a beautiful smile on your face. So as far as your question is how a family who I've helped, the recent family I've helped is the one in Negril, right? I was in Negril, Jamaica.
Oh, Negril, okay.
Right? I just went along with two colleagues of mine, Shannon and Allison, both sisters, right? And I was there with Pastor Kevin. And I was, they took me and they took pictures and I saw what they needed, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to bash any foundation. I don't do that. But the Red Cross, the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, yes, all those, we appreciate all that you're doing. But listen to me. We're not sitting on, it's a lot of people, right, don't know about the Red Cross or the Big Brothers because they only come around when there's major disasters. But my foundation, I love my foundation because it's, okay, how you call it? There's not a process. There's not an application that you have to fill out A through Z, and then somebody else have to review it, and then you get the help you need. No, it's a little different. Because if you're waiting those foundation to help you, and you're hungry right now, those kids need some food on their table. I won't comment on that, but let's say, don't hold your breath.
That is a comment. I have a few questions for you. One of them is a lot of organizations, when you give a donation, they use some of their money for themselves. Let's talk about your organization. Donations are what? 100%, right? When you make a donation, that 100% is carried to wherever you're going. So
exactly.
Why do you think that for your organization is 100%? Talk about that. Why is that so important to you?
Yeah, it's important to me because I don't need it. And I have friends, right? Friends and neighbors and so forth saying, Natasha, I've been donating to to this foundation. I'm not going to call out names, and that foundation. But after my son and my daughter research it, the money is not going to help these people. It's going into the pockets, right? Salaries, six-figure salaries. So if you're going to work for a foundation to help poor, six-figure salaries, a lot of money for an employee, you know, and that is true. I have the research and everything to show it. For my foundation, I don't really need anything because God has been good to me. Okay, I'm just the middleman because I know the very poor because I've gone there, seen it, and I know the filthy rich. So I'm the middleman where I come to introduce both of them and ensure that whatever the rich gives me, the poor will get it.
I
That's my
I
guarantee.
I love the thought. I know that you concentrated in Jamaica, but for somebody who's listening, who's not Jamaican, who's not going to go to Jamaica, but might be interested in doing something similar, tell me about how did you get started? Like somebody wanted to do it in another country. Did you have to go through that country first? Did you have to come to the United States? Tell us, how did you get started to do that international piece?
Okay, so right now, to be honest, is not Jamaica is where the foundation is registered, the first country, and then here in the United States. But the help right now is worldwide. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is making the links, right? Getting in touch with the missionaries, the church, the nursing homes in the Trinidad. I've helped people in the Philippines, right? Abigail is wherever she is. Yes, Abigail got some money for helping her family get food on their table, right? I help people in where's the other country, Trinidad. Yes, the only reason I've mentioned Jamaica because that's where I started. That was the foundation. That's where I was born. But I'm even helping someone here now, Vinny, right? He reached out to me. Vinny needs help, right? So the company that I work for is a great company, you know, and I have a lot of people raising their hand, the construction workers, the painters, the electricians. Natasha, I'm on board with you. Just guide us. What do you need? Thank you for coming my way. I have a lot of supporters. So Vinny right now living right here in New York, he's desperately in need of help. His house is one of that house should actually be condemned, but I'm getting him in the help that he needs. Through people who volunteer, who are volunteering their services. So yes, it's not just based in Jamaica; it's all over. And all I'm doing right now is setting up those connections. I have friends in Haiti, right? I have friends in Guyana. I have friends in Grenada. I have even Pakistan. Yes, it's worldwide. Eventually, my goal is to set up a resource center in each of these countries, in the poor area, of course, that these poor people can reach out to. And that resource center is going to be a place where they can come and get the medicine, get the food, get the clothing, get the therapy that a lot of people need. But more importantly, it's a place that if in the event, say we have a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old, right, have a child because they're a child themselves, don't have a place to put that child, worried about what I'm going to do with that child. Don't take it and throw it in the garbage. Don't put it in the forest somewhere. Hopefully somebody find. You bring it to the foundation. No questions asked. We'll take care of that child. And a lot of that is going on where you have these, young kids having children. And it's good that they carry them, but don't dump them. Bring it to the Mileslee Foundation. We take care of that child. No question asked.
I love the sound of that. Have you, again, I was asking for a testimony. You talk about Vinny, when you gave something, the smile on the face. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's very, how you call it, touchy. When you see these people and they're like, oh my God, thank you for coming in to my life, because they need someone, right? They feel like all hope is lost. Vinny lost Vinny lost his wife 3 years ago, right? He just did 2 knee surgery, a shoulder one. He has another one coming. He's about 69 years old. He can't manage. He has a big house. He has a daughter, Noelle. She has Down syndrome. He's taking care of his 2 grandsons, Dylan. The other one is on the streets. Some issues are going on with him. But long story short, Vinny can't take care of the house. He's in desperate need of some help. And more importantly, he has 2 back mortgages that he owes. He has a lawyer that's just put a lien on the house. So he's like, Natasha, take all this, read it. He wants me to, write up an agreement so I can speak to the attorney on his behalf. He needs help. So I step in. I say, I'll help you, Vinny, as much as I can. That's my promise to him. So right now, what I'm doing with my landscapers, I have them at his house. At least outside will be presentable. But inside is, yes, he's going to need a lot of work.
All
But
right.
that's the least I can do for right now while I research and get the help that he needs.
I got you. When you started your foundation this year, you said, right? What change would you, in this short period of time, what change would you think about making right now?
What change I think about making right now to my foundation?
Well, maybe not just the foundation, but overall, maybe the access, something like that.
I want it to be easy. I want people to be able to reach out, and I have the Mileslee Foundation, right, website. Reach out there. There's a what do you call it? WhatsApp. The link is there. You can send a message. Messenger through Facebook. You can send a message there. Instagram. You can send a message there. We have a phone number 631-889-2003. Reach out. I want to make it easy, Roderick, for these people to reach out to us, and we can communicate with them, see what they need, right? And then take it from there. If you need help, it shouldn't be a struggle, right? To just, to just be able to get in touch with somebody.
Can you repeat that? I it's funny when you gave that number. I always tell people, the number, we don't. So say it a little slower for our producer.
I'm sorry. 6 3. Is that Andre? Anyway.
Yes.
631-889-2003.
Okay.
Right? It's right here.
Huh? I'm sorry. He said once. Okay, so he wants to know all of your handles. So Instagram is what?
Instagram is the Mileslee Foundation.
Okay.
Facebook is the Mileslee Foundation.
So everything Mileslee Foundation.
Right? The website, milesleefoundation.com.
So once you look up, so you just Google Mileslee Foundation.
Right. And you'll see it.
Okay.
And then, sorry, Roderick, but if they go to the website, my IT guy, Chris, thank you so much for your help, Chris. Right? He's uploading and editing videos right now to put on it. We have pictures going, but he's on top of it.
Excellent. Right? It is a beautiful thing. Tell us a little bit more, right? So if people have donated little things, big things, how do you get them to Jamaica or anywhere you want to go?
How good is God? This guy just gave me a shipping company.
Really?
Oh, really? Yes, he's like, Natasha, you can have it. I had it open as an LLC, Roderick, that's been open for GNW LLC. He opened it for 2 years. Thank you, Donovan, for donating that to the foundation. Opened it for 2 years, but did absolutely nothing with it. Right? So he said, you can use it. I said, thank you. How good is God? But separately from that, I was shipping stuff through Dennis Shipping or Dean's, which either one of them.
Okay. So, all right. So now you're going to use that shipping company to do what you have to do.
Yes. I think
and so how do things go down? They go down in a barrel. I mean, food. Tell me how do you ship them? In barrels, in crates? What's going on?
Okay. So right now I'm working on a container. Because I have a lot of stuff. Normally I ship in barrels. Like the food kind of go down in the barrels. But now I'm getting furniture. I'm getting, boxes of diapers and things for nursing home. And, a lot of also to let you know, there's other foundations that have reached out to the Mileslee Foundation because the company I work for is the second to third largest medical distribution company in America. And they have businesses in 33 countries. So medical supplies, yes, they're like 95%, they have all the goods. I think God put me in that place for a reason, right? Because a lot of the stuff the company gives back to the employees. But more importantly, the CEO himself, which I have a very good relationship with, Very good relationship with him. And I can call his name, Stan Bergman. Let's have a good relationship. He's from South Africa. He understands what? He knows about giving back. He has a great heart. He's a great heart. He's wonderful, doing so much good. And he said it to me, Natasha, it's prophesied that you should be like on Cogney Hall. There's so much more you should be doing. That was his testimony to me.
And you know what? You are doing a lot. Is there a donate button on your website as well?
Yeah, there's a donate button there as well. And we have a GoFundMe as well, right? And as I said, it's not just money. You can volunteer your time. You can clothing, food kind, whatever it is. I just set up an account with United States Postal Services. That means they're going to send me stuff where I can, send you the labels and you ship it to us. It won't cost you a thing.
Oh, okay. I mean, that is a good thing. And so, by the way, do you do pickups? If somebody have something, how would they get that to you? Do you do pickups or talk to us? Is there like a central location? Talk to us about that.
Okay. So what you do, if there's a pickup, if it's anywhere where I live on Long Island, no problem. I have people stationed all over, right? I have a few employees working for me. So they're stationed. Some are in, we have some in Montego Bay. We have some in Kingston. We have
I'm
some
talking about here in the United States.
So here in the United States, we have Brooklyn. We have a location in Brooklyn. We have somebody in the Bronx, right? Brooklyn, and we have Queens, and we have Long Island. That's covered and Staten Island.
So the person can go to this location.
Right, just go there, drop it off.
Are these locations on the website?
No, we're about to put them up. That's going to be in our resource center.
What's my next question? If there's a location in the West Indies that we want you to attend to, do we put that out there, or how do you come up with where in the Jamaica you go to? I understand West Kingston because that's where you came from.
Negril. I've been to Negril. I've been to Montego Bay.
No, but I'm saying, how do you decide? How does that decision come up?
Of where I go?
Yes.
Because I have a book of people who've reached out, right, through the telephone. We need help in Falmouth, St. James, right? And then I go there. When I go home, when I go to Jamaica, I go there, I visit them, just like that family in the grill, right? They said that they needed help. I went there twice already, right? Bringing back more stuff that they needed. There's other families too that's in St. Mary, so I go where I'm called. The last place I went that someone needs help, there's a school there in St. Elizabeth. Okay, they need a new roof right now. They just sent me the the tab of how much it's going to cost to repair that roof.
Send you a quote. Okay.
Yeah, they sent me a quote. So I'm working. I have a lot of people on board that's been helping. And I appreciate them. I can't say how much I appreciate. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Farrakha. Thank you all that's been on board. I can't. There's a list, right? Of support. Thank you, my family. Thank you for my friends. Yes.
I am from St. Elizabeth, and I do stuff in St. Elizabeth and Manchester. This summer, my mother and my cousin and I spearheaded something, but what they did and the involvement of our families, and I don't want to call any names, because if I call, when you call a name and you forget a name and you're like, oh my God, I should call that name. But kudos to my mom and Nazelle, right? Because I know that they were the primary people, not that other people did not donate. But when we gave to the community, my mom and dad, see, that's what I'm saying about forgetting, right? So I don't want to mention any names. The line was so long. But one thing I didn't like, Andre, I don't know if you noticed that when you were there, like people forgot that we were donating to the community, and they came with like 6 bags. And they didn't understand that, listen, I'm going to give you a bag because I need to eat. They need to eat. That other person need to eat. But the need is so great. When we see the food pantry here, the need is so great. So what you're doing is so important. And that's why I ask you, how do you decide where you're going? Because the need for simple things. This summer we gave away 9 tablets, and then we fed as many people in the community as we could have fed. And it's all across the Caribbean or other places around the world, right? And I'm glad that you talk about the interaction with other individuals in other places. So I want you to keep that up, right? You say the Mileslee Foundation?
Yes, the Mileslee
Right?
Foundation.
Mileslee.com, not .org.
No, .com.
.com, right? And you people can donate financially, can help out, because obviously to go to Jamaica to do certain things, everything, yes, everything is not free. So your support is necessary, right? And if you want to know how to do similar things across different international borders, do reach out, send her an email. She's very accessible. And one thing that is important also that I find is that the passion is there, and that passion translates to the work, right? So you're not just, a lot of time we talk about success is not just spoken. That's part of our motto. Success is not just spoken, it is done. And you're doing something to help with the success level.
Right. And to quote Grant Cardone, right? He's one of marketing. But just to let you know, if there's something that you're passionate about, right? It start with what? The fundamentals, right? For me, let me talk. It start with the fundamentals. You have to be confident, right? You have to have that passion, which is what I have, and the vision. I know the Mileslee Foundation, right? We just started in January officially, but we've been doing things a long time ago, right? But it's official now because we know we need more, right? It has to be official so you can get the funds from what? These financial firms. They're not giving it to you if it's not going to be a tax write-off. So it have to be 501c3 registered, right? Because they want to be able to write it off. They'll give it to you. There's grants out there, but you have to be registered, right? With New York State.
Do you have like an annual event where you do to raise money?
Yeah, so right now we have a couple of things coming up in the pipeline. We have another, treat fundraiser. We're planning. That's going to be January, early part of that. That's going to be our annual since we roll out in January. So we're doing something in January, right? Because you want to keep track, right? And then from there, we're planning a fundraiser, a dinner, right? And I'm going to be giving away prizes. One of the prizes is going to be a tablet. Tablet is going to be a cell phone, and it's going to be like one of these speaker boxes, Bluetooth, right? Fundraiser. You buy
a fundraiser. Is that a raffle or?
Yeah, I'm going to do a raffle.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
you said a fundraiser, so you didn't. Okay, I thought that you were doing a dinner.
Yeah,
at the dinner, you're giving these things away, or?
Yeah, well, I'm doing they're gonna pay for the ticket, right, to come to this dinner, and as a part of the dinner, I'm gonna do a little raffle.
Oh, I got you. So included. So when you buy the ticket, you automatically entered into the raffle to win one of these.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
right.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give away a tablet. I've given away tablets already. I've given away phones. I've given away, monetary gifts, but I've given up clothing, whatever it is. Because I've seen it. I've been to the homes of these people. The children are like in dire needs. You should see the clothing that they're wearing. And not only that, I'm worrying about their health. So I have some teachers. I have some doctors and some nurses saying, Natasha, I will travel with you. I'll go with you when you're going. Just let us know ahead of time we go so that they can come with me and assess them, see how they're doing. Right? And that's what I really want. Right? And I'm getting a lot of support. I don't have to go looking for it. They're coming knocking on my door.
The medical needs especially in socioeconomic disadvantage, socioeconomically, with the community that is disadvantaged socioeconomically, medical needs and mental health, and addressing those are so important. And the lack of access to medicine. So it's not even just educational needs or food needs, but health needs. And so to have those, maybe one of those trips should be a medical trip, not just the treats, but say
Right.
maybe they can work. You can work with the Minister of Health and go into a community and offer that as well.
Right. Yeah, that's my aim. That's my goal. But they said what? One step at a time.
Absolutely.
One step at a time. And guess what? I have the support of the Almighty. Thank you, God, because I couldn't do this without Him. He's the one that gave me the strength and all that to do all of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Natasha Miles from the Mileslee Foundation here, who has done a great deal to contribute to economically disadvantaged communities in Jamaica. And she has also expanded outside of Jamaica to other Caribbean countries where she's looking for further assistance right here in the United States. And she's working on she is part of the leadership of the Mileslee Foundation. So we want to welcome her to the village and everything that she's doing. Charlene brought up, what was that comment that Charlene brought up? And we appreciate that she does. Good night, everyone. I will always tune into the village. It's a very interesting program. And so I thank you for that, for tuning in and reminding us to stay tuned to the things then that we need and to go further. What are some of your parting words, Natasha?
Some of my parting words is I want to thank everyone who have helped so far. Thank you to the donors. Thank you for the donors, the sponsors, the supporters, the volunteers. Thank you so much, because none of this would have been possible without your help. Thank you for all the sacrifices you have made, right? And in the long run, what makes me feel good is when they feel good. Natasha, what I'm doing here, it makes my heart, it warms my heart in giving back, right? Because a lot of people don't know about, don't have the experience of giving back. But when you get them to volunteer and they're packing the bags and they're giving it to these families that's desperately need, it brings a smile to their face. So not only volunteering their time, they're doing a good deed. It makes you feel good as a person.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I have a question for you. What would you find as one of your difficulty as running a nonprofit? What are some of the difficulties that you face?
I can't help everybody.
That you try to do everything, but you can't?
Right. You can't. So that's why one hand can't clap, but two hands can. So a lot of different foundations have reached out to me, Natasha. We need the recent one, STEM Uprising. They need oxygen machine. The company I work for, I'm researching that to get those oxygen machine for those 2 hospitals in Jamaica who lacks oxygen machine. Come on, that's life and death for a lot of people. Life or death. That's one mission I'm on right now, to get that for them.
So you're starting to internalizing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to expand Joanne's question. You said that you can't help everybody.
Right.
If you had access to one thing for your organization, not for an individual, but for your organization, what would that be?
Mm.
Now I can use one word and just say resources.
That's a cop-out.
Well, money, lots of money. I need money so I can help everybody.
So money.
No, really, it comes down to money. right?
Mhm.
Right? It comes down to money. You have the filthy rich who I see burning it, flushing it, whatever they're doing with it. And then you have these people that like would appreciate the dollar that you're burning and you're flushing.
What is
So
the amount? That's what he want to know. What amount would help to get you going, to hit and to touch the to meet the needs that you need. So you said money, but be specific. Like in the Bible, it says, be specific, put it out there, write the vision down, make it clear. Because if somebody come across to you, they're like, okay, what amount of money do you need in order to make what it is that you're doing meet the goal?
Are
So
more successful. Yeah.
mhm.
Or what you would consider success.
okay, so let me turn that around. How many
Mhm.
poor people are out there?
Can't answer that. That you can't. You're not answering the question
So
with a
the
question. Answer
question I
her question.
asked you is,
Okay.
No, we
what?
know. I'm defending you, Dr. Brian. Don't
Let
ask
me,
the question with her question. You go and answer the question. But remember,
I'm
you
just
did say, wait. You did say, I can't help everybody. Not even Jesus Christ could have saved everybody, right?
mhm.
So now let's answer Joanne's question. Don't worry, I tackled Joanne the same way. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Joanne, to be honest with you, I started the fundraiser that I have at $1 million. Now,
Okay,
many of us may say, "Oh my God, $1 million!"
Mhm.
Right? $1 million.
Oxygen tank that you're looking for costs what? So I want you to think about that as you're asking for the oxygen tank and putting it out there because you never know who might be listening. Put the price range attached to it. Hey, I need 2 oxygen tank and it costs such and such, so that you never
exactly.
know who's listening that say, hey, you know what, Jamaica needs this. Let me send it. Let me reach out to her so that we can send that amount or
And
give
whatever the
that to
donate,
us. Right.
Joanne, that is. Let me just say. Remember, I told you we gave out 9 tablets over the summer. It came with donations, so we knew that each tablet cost $120 or whatever the number was. Right? My wife was the one handling the intake of money and intake of tablets, so she could actually tell me the exact number. Somebody gave a donation for the tablet, for a couple
Mhm,
tablets,
mhm.
or towards the tablet. So that's a good point, Joanne. So we ask you that question, give it, right, or somebody ask you.
So one of the oxygen machine, I just did the math. It's a little bit over $5,000.
Okay. So you mentioned how many oxygen tank you need?
Well, they asked me for at least two,
Okay.
but they need more than that.
So you're looking at $10,000 worth of oxygen tank.
Right.
So if any of our listeners are listening, you need 2 oxygen tank at $10,000. $10,000 to be exact, going towards the oxygen tank, which is desperately needed, like you mentioned. And
Yes.
just in case one breaks down or don't have enough oxygen, you want to put 2 extras at the, give or take $20,000. So that, that is part of the goals you're going towards.
And
Right.
that could happen from your and the GoFundMe is on your website as well, right?
Is that the
Uh,
website?
Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at COVID and the effect of COVID, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, and we're not talking about that, that's not part of the conversation, but we're just talking about the COVID itself,
Hmm.
right? One of the issue is breathing.
Hmm.
And when you can't breathe, you need oxygen, you need ventilators, you need these things. And I'm so sick and tired of people say, if I could only get oxygen, what can I do? Right. So she's asking for that. And that's her ask, the immediate ask. That doesn't mean that's all you can donate. She said you can donate food, clothing, medical supply, books, computers, all those different things. She has now a shipping company that you can ship them down. So and she has offices right here in the tri-state area. And if you're in the West Indies as well, you can support her cause. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Natasha Miles from the Mileslee Foundation. Natasha, we want to thank you.
Yes.
Andre going to put up her www.milesleefoundation.com. So anybody who wants to go ahead and donate on that site, we appreciate that.
And thank you for all you do, not only in the Jamaica, but all over. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time. Thank you for going after that passion that your grandma pushed into you. and little Missy, you
Little
know,
miss. I'm a little miss.
and continue to motivate people that hey, it's never you're never too young to make a difference.
Right, right, right. And you know what I want to do? I want to make positivity contagious. It's nice when you go out there and you tell somebody, oh, you look great, you know, oh, you look handsome or whatever. Positively should be contagious. It make the place a better place. You know,
Absolutely.
people appreciate that.
And continue to share what it is that you learn and your drive and your passion, like you mentioned, your purpose at a young age. Continue to share with young people that, hey, at a young age, you could discover your passion and later on, you do it that impact more around the world.
Thank you
So,
so
congrats.
much.
All right. God bless you, Natasha, and have an excellent, excellent rest of your evening. And anything that the village can do to support you, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Yes, I want to come back. When can I come back?
That would be Andre.
Okay.
But that's fine. Especially you have something coming up in January, February. You want to promote that, help that. I think, around the time December will be cool as well.
Right.
And I want to work with you to find out maybe some programs in Jamaica that we can look at. Some schools. I'm more in schools and communities, so maybe we could look at one and identify what. God bless you.
Okay,
And
thank
thank
you so
you,
much.
as Joanne said.
Thanks.
All right.
All
Good
the
night.
best.
Good night.
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
One of the things that I want to make sure that that I address is one of the things that she said and ended up with the positive vibes only. My friend Sarge Level 3 Cannon texts me that almost every morning, positive vibes only, and PVO, and that's important. You can envision that your cup is half empty regularly, but your cup is not always half empty, right? Your cup is half full, and you can help to bring it more so you can have an abundance, and give it over to somebody else. So that's great.
Yeah. You know what? On that note, I know yesterday they opened up something powerful in Crown Heights, and that's the Major Owens Community Center that just opened in that area in the old Army off of Bedford.
The Bedford Armory in Brooklyn, Bedford and Atlantic.
No. Eastern Parkway.
Bedford and Eastern Parkway.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know where it is, but I don't know what it's called. I thought you were talking about the Bedford Armory downtown.
It's called after Major.
No. I'm saying the location.
The community center. It's not too far from Franklin Avenue, but it's great that they actually. First of all, I'm excited to hear that a community center was open in the vicinity of Brooklyn, which is awesome because I'm a big advocate for community center. If you don't give people things to do, places to
Especially young people.
yes, you will create that a community center is important. Period. That's been my drive and my passion for a very long time. And to top it off, it's a safe haven for young folks. Not only young folks, but to adults too. You can congregate safely, you can learn, you can joke, you can do all types of things. And especially if they have sports available, it is a safe environment for them to play, rain, snow, whatever. And a community center is also a place where people can go for information, all types of information. So it's disappointing that they closed so many of the community centers in New York, but it's great to see some new ones, especially the time that we're in right now. We need more resources to keep the young folks safe and to keep people from losing their mind in the process. So I am excited to hear that it was open under Major Owens, under his, to give him, because he did a lot for the community, especially in the Crown Height community, to give him credit where credit is due. So,
and for those of you who are not familiar with Major Owens, he was a congressman in Brooklyn from 1984 until 2006. was it 1984? I believe either 1984 or 1974. One of them was 74, one was 84, until 2006 when Congresswoman Yvette Clark came back and she answered that call to become the Congresswoman in 2006 as well. The Bedford Atlantic Armory is what Gail just put up on the screen.
Okay, thank you, Gail.
So thinking about community and community involvement in Louisiana, at Southwood High School, a group of dads were sick and tired of the violence. Remember, you and I were talking about. We just spoke about the violence issue, in our schools and what's happening in our community. But a group of fathers in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I mentioned Shreveport because I was fortunate when I was with the UFT. They sent me there a lot of time to work for the summer when we were doing summer activities. And so a group of dads got together because there was a bunch of fighting that was happening within the community. And so they banded together to access the school community to help the kids. Right. And so, dads got angry and said, hey, these are our kids. These are our streets. And so, I think that was a great thing. Right.
I saw the interview and it was awesome. Not only from the dad's perspective, but also from the young people. It was a high school because they were constantly fighting. And since the dads got involved, they have not had fightings and crimes the way that it was. Everything ceased. And you know what the young folks said? It was good to see dads in the school because many of them don't have. So to have that male influence, to have that fatherly influence, and to have that corny dad jokes, they were looking forward to that. So that was good to hear. It would be great to have that in some of the schools, especially what's going on right now. But every area is set up differently, But awesome, the guys gathering, they found a problem and they decided they're going to gather together, and they said they're going to turn this not only in one location, but they're going to start spreading it in different states. So
what I like about this, and it goes back to something that I'm always advocating for, which is when we talk about school safety, right? And the constant battle to say what is needed. Yet in Louisiana, you have more autonomy to allow parents and their involvement in the schools, and so they had to come to an agreement.
They didn't have too many school safety agents.
Well, actually, they do have agents,
right?
And actually, some of these agents actually carry guns. To be honest with you. Right, because I've been down in the South. They actually have guns in schools, not like New York City where they're like no guns. And that's one. So it's you have the dads. And let's go back. Remember one of the conversations I always had, and it said, "Who is the most powerful person in the school system?"
Oh Lord,
remember that conversation?
Lord,
right, and. So I'm gonna talk outside of two sides of my mouth, right? And I say this is an example, right? And I always say don't just use one example, but this is a good example right here, right? Where the parents band together. I say this is what we want to do. When you have parental involvement, because what happened? First and foremost. Think about this. If you go to school and you're hanging out, when you were teaching, when you were in the classroom and you invited a parent to your class, did that child behave?
Oh yeah, they're in
yeah, absolutely.
That's
Invite the principal into the classroom, the kids still act up
Hmm.
more than when the parent is there.
Yeah,
So when
'cause
you have parents
they have to
banning,
go home with the parent. That's the problem.
what?
They're
Right?
going home with the parent. So
Right?
guess what? They're gonna be on their best behavior.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? The only thing I always tell parents is, listen, you can't beat no child while you're in school. Right? I was telling them you can't talk to the kid while you're there. But man, I'm telling, the mamas were better than the papas. Because the
Did
mama
they?
gave some looks, yo. I was like, what? But it's interesting. Children fear their father more than they, in general, not always. Right? So please do not say, oh, my child, right? Let me just say, in general, they fear the fathers more than they fear the mothers. But
But what?
mama has this look that when they give it to that pitney, that child, there's it's like the second coming of God that the kid will rock back. They fear their fathers more, but they're afraid of their mamas more, right? For whatever the reasons are. And I think that's part of the reason why, kids have this thing with the female teachers different from the male, but you could see the dynamics differently between the male teachers and the female. But man, the mama has a look, right? The look on their face. My father, I never wanted my father to come to school. Never. Right? I remember my father coming to school a couple of times. Never that. Oh, wait, Andre, I want to send you a clip from Louis Farrakhan. I want to send it and see if we can get it up and play when he was talking about the West Indian parent, right? Right, and so, but when my mama didn't care. Mama would pop me right upside the head. She ain't.
My mother said she dark like midnight. Don't mess with me.
Andre said his mother said she is dark like midnight. Don't mess with me. But mama, but my dad came up. My dad is a pastor, and he came up and it's like, yo, dude, you're not coming back to school. Because he started preaching. I'm like, good night. Nah, don't do that. And parents, nothing more than going up to school and start preaching at school with your young kids. My dad had never had to beat my behind. But man, I got to tell you. So we kudos to these dads who banded together to set a positive tone in their schools. I do always appreciate when more parents reach out. Schools need your help, right? I always talk, schools need your help. So if you can volunteer an hour, 2 hours, sit in the halls. Know your limitations, right? If you know that you're quick to wrath.
I don't know if they could sit in the halls right now with the whole COVID thing. Yeah,
but I
they
think,
could be
but you
outside.
can't even go to. But you can't even get into the school without the COVID. So I'm just saying, know your limitations, know your access.
I think overall, how school was prior to COVID and how it is now is totally different. Some schools are not allowing parents to go in. So everything is a little different. You could volunteer maybe outside for a checkpoint, checking the health screeners or lining up or just making sure that, sanitizing and things like that. But to say that, hey, they're just going to be sitting in the hallway,
Well, I just gave that one IE, right? But there are many things that maybe the school, right, there's so many protocols. That's why you need to speak to the principal. For example, they can't file papers, right? But they can make copies, right? Which is also the school. They said we'll free up the school aid to do something else in the building.
Post-COVID have changed.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, check with the principal where your resources can be, and where you can be a resource to the school. And you're right. There's a limitation on numbers, on this, on that, whatever the case is, right? Even visiting the classroom, like I told you. you know, but be willing to go to a conference for your kid. Make yourself available for that. There has been only one incident. Students said they felt, you know, students thought they felt safer. It's not that they felt safer, so they were more afraid that there's their father and their mother, their father hanging out, you know.
And those father jokes.
Huh?
Those corny father jokes.
I'm not even worried about the jokes. I'm worried about, yeah, that's my daddy. I gotta go. Hey, dad. Nah, can't work. So I appreciate that. So you know, that's banded together, this community vibe. I guess we're doing a lot of community stuff, but I want to switch to politics for a minute.
Oh boy.
Right. I am very disappointed with Letitia James.
Oh, why is that? Why is that? Let's hear. Oh my goodness. Please elaborate.
I know Tish.
Mm.
Right. We know each other, but it just seems too convenient that you put this report out on the governor, and what the governor said is actually accurate. You put the report out because you want to run for governor. And lo and behold, there's an announcement, right, that you're thinking of running for governor. And that's the problem with the Democrats, right? Yeah,
no,
Kathy
not thinking.
Hochul,
I think she actually
yeah.
said
So
it.
you
And
have Kathy
also
Hochul, you have
Jamani
Jamani Williams, you have Letitia James. And by the way, I think she has as much chance as a snowball in a fire, and as a snowball on a hot day. Not even in hell, but on a hot day, because a snowball is not going to last above 40 degrees. You get what I'm saying? So what's the point where you won the attorney general by a landslide to talk about the fact that now you want to run? Right, you want to run for governor, where the likelihood, right, the likelihood of you winning in the primary is slim to none.
Okay,
because personally, I don't think you're going to beat Jamani Williams in a primary, because his run for lieutenant governor, right, he didn't lose for just, at that point, he was a city council person running for lieutenant governor in 2018. And he lost, yes, but he didn't lose by such a ridiculous margin. And when he ran for public advocate, which he's running for now,
which I don't understand. He's running for public advocate, and then he decides, oh, by the way, I want to run for governor. What sense does that make?
So just to explain, you can't hold two offices in New York State. So, and you can't run for the same, you cannot run the same year for multiple offices.
Right.
So in 2018, in 2017, he got elected for his second term. He got elected 2009, 2013, and 2017. So that was his final term for city council. So he was done. So in 2018, he had nothing to lose when he ran for lieutenant governor, because he was already in office. In 2019, since he's already in office, he ran, 2019, he ran for public advocate after Bloomberg, after Letitia won in 2018 for AG. Right? So she won it for AG. So therefore it was a vacant seat and he had nothing to lose. So therefore he ran from the public advocate. And what happened, and that's how Farah got elected. So Farah actually finished his term, and now 2021 she'll start actually her own term. So she actually can be in office for 10 years. Just like Matthew Eugene was in office since 2006 because Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, got elected 2005, so he finished her term. So technically, Public Advocate Williams can be in office. His 2-year finished the last 2 years of Letitia James, so he officially became at 2021 is officially his first official term. So he can run for governor in 2022 because this year, 2021, is now his official term. And I don't know if that explains it, but the fact is, Tish James, however, who plans to run for governor, cannot run for governor and AG, right? Because she can't hold 2 offices. She cannot run for the 2 offices in the same year. So 2022, she will either have to run for AG or lieutenant governor. She can't do both. Understand? But
AG
if she was running
or
for
lieutenant governor. Wait. AG or lieutenant governor. Okay.
AG or governor.
Okay.
Right. So attorney general or governor, but she cannot do both. But Jomani can, because Jomani is not running for 2 offices in 2022. Right. That's the example. That's the best way to show it.
Okay. But I knew that was going to happen. And many said the same thing. They felt it was a setup for him to get out of office so that other people would run. But here's the thing. So now you have 3 Democrat and then possibly.
Oh, no, there's not going to be 3. They're not going to be 3.
Of course, de Blasio is looking.
I'm not even saying de Blasio. I'm saying Democrats cannot unite.
Yeah, everybody wants.
So everybody's going to run. Everybody and their mother. Because grandmothers, everybody and their mother's going to run. Tish James, maybe throwing de Blasio, Bloomberg, throw any name you want in there. Right? You throw anybody out there, somebody's going to be a new Democrat is going to be resurrected. Kevin Smith, the pastor from Jamaica, is going to come back and run for the office as a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, he's going to show up in the United States under a different name, and run for Democrats. They can't it's like, why is Tish James running? What is Kathy Hochul doing that is so bad
that she wants to run,
that you need to go and replace her? Because you are doing a great job as AG.
You could ask Jomani Williams the same thing too. What is it?
Jomani, I can understand.
But here it is. Why not give suggestions? Because she's fairly new.
No, Jomani, I can understand. Which is a little bit different. And
why can you understand that? Seeing that she
that's a very good question.
Correct.
Is it her
running for governor a conflict of interest, seeing that she just unseated Cuomo?
And that's what we're talking about, Eddie. That's a very important comment because it seems, right? Not cutthroat. It seems, what's that word? Is it scrupulous or unscrupulous? Right? It seems, I like to use the term too convenient.
Okay. Too convenient.
Hold on. Tell me your name. Hold on.
What's too convenient?
Right. It just seems too convenient that all of a sudden you make up all of this and then you get elected. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're live.
Yes. So what you guys are talking about there, I'd like to make a prediction. Because
I'm sorry. Who are we speaking to?
This is John.
Hey, John. How you? Welcome to the village.
Okay. So what's going to happen once Tish James announced and officially she can't run for AG, and she will not win the governor's race because all the governors, deep pocket people in the state of New York, and with his fighting, will eventually cause her to lose, and he is going to run for attorney general.
Who is he?
To take up the case.
Who are you talking about?
Andrew Cuomo will run for attorney general, and from that position, he's going to run for the next president of the United States in 24 after he beat Trump and his family.
John, slow down. Go back to Sophia's first. Wait. What will her fate be if she leaves AJ? Nothing. She has no job. So what will her fate be if she leaves as the Attorney General and loses? She has no job. She now becomes a private citizen who has to find a job, and whatever that job is, and it won't be in the governor's mansion. I could tell you that. But, John,
there is no way.
Wait, John, slow down. Did I just hear this on The Village? That you just stated that she's going to lose because Kathy Hochul is going to win. That's your prediction. And Andrew Cuomo, in a couple of weeks, is going to announce that he's running for Attorney General?
Yes, sir. He's going to be the next Attorney General of New York. And from that position, he's going to run for President of the United States.
I don't agree with you.
All right.
No, here's why. I think that he could still run for President of the United States. No, for president. And I think it has been speculated that he would run in 2024 or 2028, depends on what happened with Biden. However, I don't know what makes you think that he's going to run for Attorney General.
To bring down Trump.
So he's going to work to bring down Trump.
Yes, Trump and his family.
What about the AG?
Take up as the AG.
No, but what about? What about Tish James?
Tish James is out. She's a private citizen. Once she decides to run for governor, she's running for being a private citizen.
Interesting. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah.
What do you think, Joanne?
This whole you know what, we have to, I'm gonna bite my tongue on that one. I'm gonna take the political exit out. I'm not gonna say anything.
No, Joanne,
I'm confident.
We're gonna fight. At least do me a favor, read Stargirl's comment. At least do that. We're gonna fight. Just read Stargirl's
That's
comment.
why they both wanted Cuomo out. I will not vote for neither Tish or Williams. They are snakes, and that's what a lot of people will feel too.
John, what do you think about that comment?
I'm sorry, I got distracted there. Could you please repeat that? Let me just.
Stargirl wrote, "That's why they both wanted Cuomo out. I will not vote for neither Tish or Williams. They are snakes." And here's the thing: a lot of people feel that way. You have
All of a sudden you have a comment? I don't want to hear your comment. We don't want to hear your comment. We don't want to hear your comment, but you're staying out of it. Now all of a sudden you're speaking for other people. No, speak for yourself. Yeah, John. So this is a very interesting thing that you have presented on The Village, right?
Yes, sir.
But here's my question, though. Here's my question, which you're not answering. What makes you believe that Cuomo is going to run for Attorney General? You didn't tell us that. What makes you think so?
Number one. It was Cuomo's money that got Tish James into that position. He had no money. If you went to Tish James' campaign office on Atlantic Avenue, everybody in there were hired by Cuomo. It was Cuomo's money.
And she turned around and bit him in the butt.
And she's a Magadag. Sorry if you Magadag turn wrong by she.
Wow, what is it, Andre? Tish James with Cuomo's help. Oh, so Andre just pulled up something. Tish James with Cuomo's help, this is from the New York Times, raised $1 million in the Attorney General's race. So Cuomo helped her to raise $1 million.
Exactly. It's Cuomo money. Cuomo got $18 million in his coffers.
And then she went after him.
And then she went because she felt that she could make it from there. Okay? Let me tell you something. I took Tish James up to the Northeastern Conference camp meeting in Hyde Park, New York, with over 300 churches from Buffalo to Brentwood, New York, supported her. She won. But she never came back and thanked us in the Adventist church. And you know, so this is Kathy Hochul's time. Como, listen, she talked bad about Como, but Como will turn around and support Kathy Hochul to win because he doesn't want Jomani to win, and he is an arch enemy to de Blasio. So Tish announced, Jomani announced, before the week is out, de Blasio is going to announce, and none of them are going to make it. Kathy Hochul will win this race.
Well, it sounds like, yeah. You know, listen, I don't know where you get your inside information from, right? But it seems very plausible, John.
If de Blasio announced before the weekend, I'm with John.
John, Andre says that if de Blasio announces, you got to come to the studio and get your $100.
No.
Right, so you're gonna have to call us.
I agree.
But wait.
Oh, wait, John, oh no, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. He says I agree that de Blasio is going to run.
No, I said if de Blasio announces at the end of the week that he's going to run.
The end of the week is tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
You got Saturday too, right? So that's Saturday.
Yeah.
So within the next 7 days. Let's say within the next 7
Okay,
days.
let's call it that. If he does announce, I'm gonna be more inclined to agree with what you're saying, John.
I get it. He says if Mayor de Blasio throws his hat into the ring,
Oh Lord.
then he's inclined to say everything that you say is true. So he's waiting to
All
see if you
right.
know what you're talking about. That means that next week you should be calling in, right?
After
Yes,
the
sir.
mayoral election.
No, next week. Not he's
Yeah.
done. Remember that Mayor de Blasio is a lame duck mayor.
Oh, we know that.
Yes.
We know that. He's
Yeah, no, I'm saying he doesn't have another term, so therefore he's lame duck. That's the expression. Yeah. Andre's curious as to what you do.
Who's that?
Andre's you's curious. He said, "Why you know so much?"
Listen, in every last one of them, I helped to win their race. Jomani, I worked with Jomani. You will see me there at his winning announcement, right with him on the stage. I worked for Tish. You will see me there with her when she celebrated her one that night.
Who?
See me right
I'm
there
sorry,
next
I
to
missed
her.
that last person. Who was that last person?
Tish.
Tish.
Okay.
And de Blasio, both of them, took him to the Nassau Coliseum where we had 40,000 members from the Greater New York Conference and the Northeastern Conference joint camp meeting at Nassau Coliseum. The president of the World Church, the president of the North American Division, the president of the two unions, and the president of the conferences surrounded him on stage, prayed for him, and he went from third in the polls right up into City Hall. So
Are you talking about
Yeah,
Bill?
on the-
Prayer. The
Bill de
power.
Blasio, yeah.
All right, powerful. Prayers powerful and important.
But you know
John,
what,
I want to thank you for calling in on
wait.
the
I wanna
yes.
go- Don't hang up with John. You made an excellent point by saying many times people will use you and say all these wonderful things to churches, but never go back to thank the
Never
people
go back.
who support.
Exactly.
And that is what people need to learn. If they help you put, if they help,
I'm sorry, Joanne. Read Stargirl's comment. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that, Joanne. Finish your thought and then read Stargirl's comment. That's why I was laughing.
if they help put
Yeah.
you in power, you need to go back and say thank you. Never forget where you started. And that's what a lot of people fail.
Yeah, I read her comment. It's just funny.
No, you read it.
Oh, because she had a Jamaican word in there. She said, "True, Mr. John, karma will speak, just a matter of time. Blasio need to go tech way himself because him done." But by the way, Stargirl, that's supposed to be D-U-N done. You forget the D-U-N done. That's funny. That is so funny. Got tech way himself, eh? Got him done. Andre back here doing the tech way yourself, row your boat, tech way yourself, right? In live and direct, he live and direct. Oh, hi, Mr. Barnes. Welcome live and direct from Antigua. Thank you for joining us on The Village. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for joining
Thank
on
you.
the phone. We appreciate your comment. We appreciate your insight. And we look forward to seeing if de Blasio is going to throw in his hat for the race.
That means John, on November 4th, if if Bill de Blasio announces you got a free pass, you got to contact us at the Village Show 30 and speak to Andre, and we guarantee that you'll be a guest next week Thursday because we want to know what you know. Right, Dr. Brian? You agree, right?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Good night, and thank you. Good night.
No problem. Thank you. God bless.
Bye-bye.
You know, I do have an issue with the comment about, and there's a reason why I have an issue with it. I'm going to tell you why.
Your comment. What comment?
Not your comment. Just it's a general comment, but you're not the first person who said it. Like they come to the churches and say when they want a vote, they come. And then when they office, they don't come back. It's the church's fault.
Why? Because they open their door to allow people to come and talk?
No. I've often spoken to pastors. One thing you know about a pastor is that he has or she has flock. And he or she has access to votes. When I tell you that I'm allowing Dr. Brian to come to my church and speak, Dr. Brian says, Roger Daly, you can come to my church and speak. I must know, right? I must know that when Dr. Brian calls on me, I better have an answer.
But guess what? Not everybody keep their words. Not everybody keep their words. Remember that.
But that's what the point is. So I cannot, while I'm running for election, I am free. I am free to go to 60 million churches. But I don't, when I'm in office, I am at work just like you. Right? I am at work just like you.
Until it's time to run again.
And because I have the time. If you don't access what you have, you think in certain communities they don't go back to the politician and hold their foot to the fire? Those politicians don't go back to the synagogue. The rabbi, for example, if the big churches, CCC, right? They go and say, I want this, right? They come back and say, I need a community-based thing. I need a building. So what does the politician come back to your church to speak for? What does the politician need when they come to your church? What do they need? The only thing they need when they come to your church to speak is what? Votes. What do you need from the politician? I need economic resources for my church, for my community-based organization. For me to come to your church, I need votes. So don't tell me I didn't come back. My purpose in coming to the church is votes. Your church needs an after-school program, funding for that after-school program. So what do you need to do as a pastor? What do you think? I'm going to come back to the church and announce that I'm giving you funding? Because that's all I would come back for.
So just harass the politician. Is that what
Not harass, but leverage your relationships with the politician.
Develop it.
You get what I'm saying? Because the only reason why I'm coming to your church, again, let's be clear. I need votes. So if I come to you when I need votes and you need funding for your organization, what should you do?
I need funding.
Thank you. I'm not going to give you funding at your church. If you don't put in the application for funding, you're not getting it. I might call your office and say, hey, there's some funding here. But if you don't put in the application, you're not getting it. So when people talk about politicians come to church when they want votes, that is what they're supposed to do. Period. If you don't leverage that relationship, it's your fault.
All right, Mr. Blame the game. Blame
I'm
the
not
game.
blaming.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not blaming, but I'm speaking with realism.
All right. I want to switch the topic.
To what?
I want your thought on the final mayoral debate. What was your thought?
I didn't see the debate actually. I was trying to get home. I was at an office. I didn't see it, but I did get some feedback on it.
Before you say your feedback,
right? The primary one that I got was they look like both of them look like school children. Right.
Well,
one said that, do you live in Brooklyn? The other one said, why don't you pay your child support? Those kind of things.
but here's the thing. Here is and a reporter said that, and I think we said that prior. Never think that you won a race until it's finished.
Absolutely.
Because if you come across, and the reporter said, Eric Adams act as though he already won the race. So if he's saying that,
who said that?
A reporter from, what was it, Channel 7? Channel
Yeah.
7. So if he's saying that, you know how many other people feel the same way?
It's interesting that you're bringing that up, right? So one thing is, in the latest Emerson College poll, right, Eric Adams is 61%, Sleeve is 25%, and undecided is 14. So if you move all 14, you get 39 to 61, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, and I always go back to the how much time we got, Andre?
Not that much. Not that
About
much.
5. All right. So one of the things that a couple of things. So let's just do that for 2 seconds, right? Because we know there's a big race coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are overconfident that he's going to win, and they're not going to vote.
Yep. And then don't go around and act as though you won the race. And that is an important thing.
No.
Yes, have
I
plans.
disagree with that.
No. Have plans. But guess what? A lot like similar to Hillary. Hey, she automatically
Hillary was different.
won.
Hillary.
Guess what? Trump won.
Hold on, my boy. Wait. Eric is out campaigning. No, Hillary thought she won, and she didn't campaign in Michigan, and she didn't campaign in Wisconsin.
But here's the thing.
Wait, hold on. That's what I'm saying. Eric, he's acting mayorally, but he's actually out every day on the streets. Him, the phone banking, the community outreach.
I do know that.
Right, and he's doing it. So he's not. He doesn't think that he has won the race.
Here's the thing. Here is the thing. This other candidate is speaking to what? City workers. Looking directly at the other candidate, not looking at the camera, looking at the other opponent.
But it's not enough. It's not enough at this moment.
He's speaking to city workers who are upset about the whole mandate.
But I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying to you, right? I'm saying to you, most people don't care enough, and it's not that many, right? And that's one of the problems that the city workers have to come to terms with. They did it with Bloomberg, with the unions. And it backfired on the unions because Bloomberg proved that he didn't need them to be elected. Right? You get what I'm saying? So the union suffered under Bloomberg. The UFT was almost dissolved with their 144,000 members because they had people who actually voted for Bloomberg. And it wasn't 80% that voted for Bloomberg, but in 2001, in that race, they actually lost support. And that some of these workers will lose it because it's not enough for them. Not that the union is not powerful. Not saying that, but I'm saying of the 160,000 people who said that they had to report to work, it's 160,000. If you multiply it by 3, I say 400 and 500 and whatever the number is, right? 480,000. It's still not enough for him to lose the race.
But here's the thing.
But it's enough to make a dent and make a statement.
Never be overconfident.
I 100% agree with that. Can you pull up some of those comments again?
We were shocked at the results when Trump won. So I want you to think about that. Just because, hey, someone's winning at a poll doesn't mean that they're going to win.
Absolutely. Polls don't make you win. Votes make you win.
Exactly.
So Charlene wrote, some ask and plead with members to vote after they got it. In most cases, the politicians don't return. I'm so happy you're one of that. The Will Rivers. Thank you. Although I don't consider myself a politician. And it does go back to the comment, Lynn, back to the comment of the purpose of me coming to your church is to get votes. And I'm going to hold you. I'm going to tell you what I will do when I'm getting in office. It's up to the church to hold me to the fire. There was another comment from Starger, so truly because they believe the polls and the polls do is to trick you. That is 100% certain. Do we have? Please remember this early voting. I voted already, right? And it's early voting in New York City. Find out where it is, get to it, and go vote. And ladies and gentlemen, there's no line. When I walked in, I was the only person that felt like a king.
Tell our listeners, what do they need in order to go and vote early?
You just need to contact, you could do 3-1, contact your local office, the elected office, your local community board, and they'll tell you exactly where you need to vote, absentee ballot, in-person ballot, and they'll let you know. Right? Ruby wrote the idea of defunding police not working for me. So Adams, no, I'm not sure. Adams is not about defunding the police. So I'm not sure. I'm not exactly. Are you saying you're for defunding the police? And because he's not for defunding the police, you're not voting for him? Or you believe that he's for defunding the police? Which one? Adams is very big. Go to the heart of the matter. I'm not sure what that means either. Okay, well, we said a lot of things. So I'm not sure what the heart of the matter is. Oh, facts on Bloomberg, right. So explain, Ruby, what you meant by, because he's not, Eric Adams is not for defunding the police. He's for reforming what's happened with the police, as all of us are, because there are some people who need some, what's it called? What do you call it? Cultural training. What do you call it in education? Cultural sensitivity. That's not cultural competency, cultural response. Responsive education. Yes, cultural responsive education. So they do need that. Just like I need to know, corned beef and cabbage, that is not just a Jamaican dish, it's also an Irish dish, right? Absolutely. So that's one thing.
And it's 9:14 right about now. We have to let our people know that, hey, election day is when?
Tuesday, November 2nd. Get out and vote. We missed a couple topics today. Got really interesting. We didn't touch on Alec Baldwin. That was one thing. The COVID mandate by the mayor about tomorrow. We did touch on that a little bit.
Yes, we did.
And
we'll find out what happened tomorrow.
We'll find out what happened for tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Listen, Adams is obnoxious. Whoever wants to save cats. Thank you, Eddie, for that comment. Adams is obnoxious and Silver wants to save cats. Go figure. We have not touched on what's going on in Haiti and all that stuff, so we missed that. Thank you for listening, watching, hearing The Village. We are helping the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education. Leave that up, right? Helping each one of us in accomplishing our dreams at any age and at any point, reminding you that success is not just spoken, it is done. So I finished with Ruby's comment. Originally, Eric had said he was defunding, but he changed his mind. Okay, still not voting for him. All right. Well, he never said defunding the police. He never talked about defunding the police. But thank you.
And to each his own.
On that,
Mhm.
he did talk about reform a lot and safety, public safety as primary and important. There's something I wanted to say, but I forgot.
Be safe.
There was something it was important. But that's that. Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday to my Uncle Tony. Happy 50th birthday to my cousin Marville. And happy birthday to, there are a couple other people who celebrate birthday. I don't want to miss it, but if you celebrate birthday next, and happy Halloween for those of you who are celebrating, and the likes. Don't come
And
to my
be
house.
safe
I don't
out
have no
there,
trick or treat.
please.
Huh?
I said be safe out there if you do celebrate Halloween. You know.
All right.
All the best. And thank you for joining us.
And thank you for joining
Bye-bye.
us. God bless. Have a great, great evening. See you next Thursday.
All right.